Women and Money, Lifting the Fog Salon number 15.
Wow.
We keep track.
Number 15.
Yes. So the salon takes place in the context of our vision, which is to create an economy that sustains life. And my name is Nelly, and I am the facilitator of Salon number 15. My intention is for all of us to have the richest possible experiencing these 2.5 hours together. I'd like also to respect our time commitment and end on time, although we didn't start on time. So I invite each of us, when it's time to share, to be concise and distillate the truth about ourselves or what we want others to receive. And to listen to. So to distillate, to be concise and come to the point. Because what we want is to engage in partnerships and have others listen deeply to what we want to say. So we will use a timer that lovely Bertita is holding her hand, to keep our share within 3 minutes so that everyone has a chance to share. So our mission is to shift our relationship with money from a consumption-driven paradigm to a paradigm of co-creation, caring, and sufficiency. We're here to explore our stories and beliefs around money by listening to the stories of our speakers, to bring clarity to our personal finances as well as to our lives by applying the 4 tenets. They're over there, which we have identified, and they are workability, education, training and development, and building community. I'll explain what it is, what they are. Workability is we practice integrity, making and keeping promises, and competence, managing conflict and finding resolution in all areas of our lives. Education is number 2, and we stay informed about the current economy as well as emerging ideas for a new economy by reading, participating in conferences and talks, and by sharing with others, either speaking or on our Facebook page, or inviting others to something we know is going on. Training and development, we expand our personal growth and development and awareness by participating in life-enriching programs and deepening our spirituality. Building community, we reach out to other communities with similar missions, create new salons, and engage with other community in the vision of our salon. So we invite, we spread the word. So by applying these tenets to our lives, little by little, we invent new ways of being with ourselves and money, ourselves and our communities, ourselves and the economy, and the world. So, let's see, I wanted to say that, we have recently instituted a few events that are happening not all on Sundays, they also happen during the month, because the idea is to create community. So we have mini workshops. Actually, those happen normally before the salon. Not today, but normally we have a presentation that lasts 1 hour, is free, and is an illustration of something about money, or not necessarily only about money. Last time it was Judy presenting how money works. So if you have an interest at all, if you have something to value to share, which is the case of all of us probably, please, there is a list that will go around, and feel free to sign up. It's fun and it creates opportunities for everyone, including for the presenter. We also have maxi workshops as opposed to mini workshops. And they are actually, those are put together and by the presenter. They are, with the salon, we sponsor them, we advertise them to our list on Facebook page, but it's a responsibility of the presenter of the maxi workshop to put it together, you know, and decide whether to charge or not. We had an awesome maxi workshop just a couple of weeks, a couple of weeks ago. Bonita was our speaker 2 months ago. She did a beautiful, synergetic workshop called Calling Out the Brilliance of Women. And many of us participated. So speakers, by the way, have an opportunity to do that, but not necessarily, because sometimes after they speak and listen to it, out of speaking here, there is maybe a workshop in your conversation that you bring up. Maybe. It doesn't have to be that way, but that's a possibility. And then we do special events like movie night. We did last Friday at Judy's house. We watched the movie Thrive, some of us, and it was great. We had a discussion also, popcorn, and we had fun, and we also opened our eyes, because that's the whole idea. So, and then one other thing we may do is symposiums, and actually during this coming month, our idea is to do the symposium Awakening the Dreamer, and we will do it sometime during the month, and we will send out an invitation to all of you. And I don't know whether you're familiar with what it is, and it's just 2 words. It features leading edge information about the state of the planet, of our planet. And we do, and also includes transformational exercises to empower participants to see the opportunities as well as the challenges of our time, and so that it empowers us to take action in, I like this, in an informed optimism. I like informed optimism, not just like that. So it's something not to be missed. It really doesn't leave you the way it finds you. It's about the state of our planet. I did it twice and it's amazing. So I like to offer this as ecology and economy go together. So that's it. Oh, by the way, I'm sending this binder around, and there is on the first page there is a page called "There Are Many Ways to Participate in the Salon." And if you are so called, you can look here. There are many ways. You can be a speaker, a mini workshop presenter, steering committee member, and if you have questions of what you're getting yourself into, but getting yourself into something, it's fun. It's right?
Yeah, I just love the way you put a positive spin on the phrase "getting yourself into."
Yeah. I mean, it's
in
fun.
A genuine
it's
way.
Really fun.
We make it positive.
Yeah. The salon is not. The salon is not just on Sunday once a month. It's something that it's a community, really. It's a community with a purpose. And there is nothing better than that, with lovely people and engaged people. It's just delightful, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so what else do I want to say? Because I want you to speak. Okay, so the format of the salon is going to be a little different today, because we have a speaker, but she won't say the whole story together and then break us into groups. She will say the story in bits and pieces. She will ask questions, so she'll lead us in an inquiry, basically. So we'll have the opportunity to share, raise our hands. Bertita is going to be the timekeeper. She will ring the bell, on the dots there. Not that I want to cut you off, but I want, it's like a reminder, because we are, as women, we like to go on and on sometimes. So she will do that, and so the format normally is the little groups. So be prepared to stay in the big group, but then at the end we will all share something about according to what Judy will say.
Eradicating insecurity in the world, one person at a time. I'm a life coach, and I look forward to coaching up with anyone, anytime.
My name is Karina Furman, and what we came up with at the well last few days was I'm a evolutionary mystic. So that's my passion that drives me and what I'm enjoying learning about and practicing in my life. And being here in support of Nelly and being here at the salon. Thank you.
I'm Kay Sandberg, and I'm the founder, chief visionary, and director of the Global Force for Healing, with love as the force.
Yeah.
I'm just delighted. I met some of you last month when I was here as a speaker, and wow, there's just so much to say, and I just feel like such kindred spirits, kindred souls in this room. I just want to thank you all for just creating this incredible space and for being here today.
I'm Pat McNulty, and I'm doing something very different than all the rest of you. I'm a realtor. And you know, the topic is interesting to me, and I'm not really sure what the group is about, and so I'm here to find out.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you for coming.
I'm Joni Smith, and I retired from work as a director of nursing about 1.5 years ago. And now I'm just enjoying life. Traveling as much as I can and learning new things and seeing what life is like for the last third.
Yes, thank you.
And my name is Nelly. I am a business owner. Just opened up a spa in San Mateo 2 weeks ago. Josie had a treatment with me 2 days ago and invited me here. I also am a Reiki master, and I do a lot of different things. Permanent makeup artist. So I am very happy to be here, to connect with all of your beautiful spirits here, and to learn more about raising consciousness.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Josie, and yeah, she's correct. I don't just go for the facial. I really go for the energy. Like, I don't care what she does to my face. It just feels good. So anyway, I joined the salon a few months before Christmas. I was introduced by someone, and I was really attracted by just the title. You know, women and money lived in the fog, because I do financial services, you know, trying to help people middle income get back to basic and knowledge. And I was excited to find a group that wanted to talk about money, because everywhere I went, nobody wanted to talk about it. So I was like, okay, I'm here. So I love to be a friend of Nelly. I like what this is developing in our running too, and the people that I meet, and so I'm excited to be part of the salon.
I'm Nancy, and I'm really excited to be here. I'm here because of Josie. And I'm really enjoying the whole open-mindedness, the way it helps me, I don't know, have a higher and clearer view of money and how I interact with it. So I really enjoy it. And I'm a musician, and I see music as a sacred path.
I mean, I really believe that. I mean, evolutionary mystics. I mean, I think that's what we are, all of us, whether we know it or not, and you know, whether we declare it or not. So, I'm really glad to be here. I love circles of women. There's a power here that is that has to be felt. You know, to be understood. It can't really be spoken like the Tao. You know, it can't really be spoken. And so I think whenever women gather, especially in circle, and especially to just support each other and tell their stories, there is just there's a container that's created, a safe container for whatever wants to arise, for whatever is new and life supporting to arise. So. So I have to tell you, when Nelly asked me to speak, well, if she'd asked me 2 months ago, I would have said no, because I was laboring under the assumption that I have nothing to say. And a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago brought to my attention, he said, you know, whenever there's a group, I notice that you don't speak up. And I said, well, that's because I don't have anything original to say. I don't have anything, I mean, everything that I see and feel and believe is so informed by what I've learned from other people. Hi, welcome.
Hello.
No problem. We just
Come in.
Come on in.
I peeked in when you were centering yourself.
Oh. You can
So when I
say.
started hearing the talking, I thought maybe it was safe.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just grab this chair up here? Thank you, please.
Sure thing. Hey, what is your, yeah, if you could just say
My
your
name
name.
is Anna. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
I apologize again that I'm late, and I believe I'm here for the Woman in Money Salon.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no. Phew.
And if it's not, then I'm in the right place anyway. So I'm here, basically, from whatever we're talking about today, I'm here. So
Oh, you don't want to talk about IRS codes?
that's why you were meditating first.
That's right. So I was just saying that I really believe that I really believed that I don't have anything original to say, and that I also have this kind of program going that I'm just a soccer mom from the Silicon Valley, right? But what do I know? What do I know? But I just know how powerful it is when I hear women's stories. Women have just amazing, you know, their lives. They go sort of quietly about, and they're astounding. We went to Bonita's workshop, and that's actually one of the reasons. I mean, she was amazing, and her workshop was titled "Calling Out the Brilliance of Women." And one of her points is that women bring such richness to the world just in being a woman. That there's nothing in particular that they need to do. That I think that everything they do is sort of a gravy. You know, because there's such a power in holding feminine principles. I also have a teacher that I'm studying with who tells me the universe specializes in originality. You know, on the one hand you can say there's nothing new under the sun, but she said, you know, the universe is constantly creating, and we, each person, you know, everything that's here embodies the leading edge of evolution, of life expressing as Jody, as Nelly, you know. So that was a very empowering thing. So I was thinking about, you know, in 2006 I was doing some work with the Foundation for Conscious Evolution, and we were working on, I had this thing, I wanted to know what my purpose was. You know, what's my purpose? And I was meditating, I was asking a question, and I was trying to figure it out. And I was, as if you're gonna like get it right. There's gonna be a right answer, like a game show. You know, behind door number 2 is your correct purpose, and if you don't get it, you'll be sent away with some, you know, lovely consolation prize. But within that work, I thought, oh my gosh, you know, what if it were possible that you just choose what your purpose is, right? You just decide, and then you say it. And so I was thinking, gosh, wow, if I could just choose it, what would my purpose be? What would I want it to be? You know, what would I want my purpose to be? And so I was with a bunch of people on the phone, and I told Nelly I was so nervous about actually stating what my purpose was that I had to go out onto my front porch and close the door and sit there on the phone and go, okay, well, okay, if I could choose my purpose, you know, it was so hesitant, you know, so I said, my purpose, I came to this planet, I was born at this place and time to birth a new consciousness on this planet. And my world opened up. I mean, my life made sense then. I thought, of course, then everything that I've been doing, you know, you would have been born into an old consciousness, into an old belief structure. You would have had to figure out how to move your consciousness into a new way of being, right? Do your own personal work, and then you know, do it one-on-one in your family, do it with other people, meet up with people who are doing the same thing. So, so that's what so that's what everything I do is about. And that's kind of why I agreed to talk here, because, and just tell my story, because I think that we're all doing that. I think it's very powerful, and I think it's so needed right now. So just a little background. I am a scientist by training and by past profession. I studied molecular genetics, and I worked in the biotech fields and pharmaceutical business for a while before I met my husband, got married, and had babies. Actually, I was a stepmother to his 2 sons, and then I had my own children, so I've been at home for about 14 years. And about 6 or 7 years ago, I started having a series of mystical experiences and dreams that led me ultimately to the practice and to the study of shamanism. So I was raised Catholic. I converted to Judaism when I met my husband, when I married my husband. I meditate with a Hindu group. I practice shamanism. I study with a visionary cosmologist. I study Kabbalah. So I'm sort of all over the map. And what I notice about my life after Bonnie's workshop, actually, is that my life has been about constantly creating a larger and larger context, trying to learn more about the nature of things. How do things really work? I think that's where I started with the sciences. And then I love like every ancient wisdom tradition there is. I'm just really interested. And because I think the more you know, the more you can be engaged, the more you have choice. You can be an informed optimist when you know the landscape. So a couple of years ago, I joined the board of the Foundation for Mind Being Research, which was founded 32 years ago by a group of scientists who were interested in consciousness. So they didn't want to be limited to the scientific paradigm now that's like a lot of structures, very closed and very, here's what's possible, and anything that's happening outside this we don't want to know about. Don't tell me about ESP, and don't tell me about spontaneous healings and things like that, because it doesn't fit into our paradigm. So these scientists and healers started this group that wanted to explore things without dogma, just in a spirit of inquiry, just what is so. And then provide a platform for people who were doing this research to present their theories, to kind of bounce it back and forth between around people. And so that's what we've been, that's what the organization's been doing for 32 years. And so now I'm the president of this organization, and like a lot of organizations, we are in the middle of trying to evolve. We want to evolve to our next level, because when I joined the board, I said, there are people who follow quantum mechanics and people who follow this kind of research. No, they know that a lot of what's the word, discoveries that have basically proven what the mystics have always said, right? We go all the way back. So there's this connection between modern science, quantum physics, and ancient wisdom traditions. We are one, the oneness of creation. It's really literally true on the quantum level. You won't hear scientists say oneness. You'll hear them say things like quantum entanglement, or stuff like that. But and that goes to the languaging, the languaging that our culture needs, because the culture, the way it's structured, doesn't really latch on to the ephemeral very well. But you can, if you put it in concrete terms, people get it. So so all of this has been about increasing context, right? Increasing context, increasing context. And I've been a student of Barbara Marx Hubbard for probably 20 years. And she, if you don't know who she is, you should check her out. She's getting ready to turn 82 years old. 83? Thank you. And, you know, 20 years ago when I first met her, she was the only person that I'd ever met who was holding a positive vision for the future of humanity. You know, everybody's talking about apocalypse, and they're talking about, you know, destruction, and, but she really is holding a positive vision for the future of humanity, that what we're going through is actually part of the evolution of humanity. And it's necessary and it's good. It's all, you know, that it's a good thing. So,
No, because there's people working, so.
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay.
That's what I struggle with. Sorry.
I don't think it's
So Nelly and I were talking about, you know, so if you think about, so the largest of all contexts, right, in the history of the planet, 13.7 billion years since this creation started, and that evolution on the planet, if you look into the record, evolution does not happen gradually, it happens in kind of leaps, and then you know, it sort of figures it out, and then, so the idea is that we're going through an evolution right now of humanity, all 7 billion of us together. And so what does this have to do with the economy? What does this have to do with money, right? What I want to look at is the economy as an expression of our beliefs, right? When I first started studying shamanism, actually the thing that got me to study shamanism, when I heard the man who was going to be who ended up being my teacher, he was giving a talk, and he was talking about how the myths that a culture holds informs how that culture works, you know, acts on the planet, right? And so I'm thinking of the economy in terms of, you know, what does it say about our belief systems? What does an industrialized economy say about what we believe about ourselves and the planet? If you look, I mean, so if you just think about our economy now, and think about what it values, what it rewards. Do you have any sense?
Yeah, it's basically a lot of material rewards, right? Things, consuming more and more, bigger and bigger things that it's kind of brought us to a point where we have kind of isolated ourselves from everything.
Exactly. Don't you feel that? Don't you feel that sense of isolation?
Oh,
I think that's huge. So, you know, this is an economy. You know, in the Awakening the Dreamer Symposium, they talk about, you know, this economy, it values what's the word I was looking for? Consumption and conflict. Conflict, right? Because we're fighting each other, right? We're in competition. We're fighting the planet. We have hierarchies of what's of value, and it's dehumanized us. You know, we're not people anymore. We're consumers, right? We're called consumers. And think about that. We're just, I mean, I don't know. It makes me feel like a tapeworm. You know, just like we're just always consuming. And really, you know, we don't think in terms of that, but you know, it's an economy that is an expression. This is my personal belief of a belief in separation, right? I'm separate from you. We're separate from the planet. We're separate from the divine, from the source, right? Exactly. And there are everything's disposable. People are disposable. You know, some people, well, you know, we can drill in the Amazon because, you know, those people, we don't care about their lives, we don't care about their habitats, you know, their whatever. So, so then I was, you know, these are the kind of unexamined assumptions that lead to this expression. So going back to the story of the myths, you know, the myths that we tell ourselves that guide our action. This is the line that got me, actually, when he said, there are entire cultures on this planet that were never kicked out of the Garden of Eden. And I was thinking about that, you know, the whole Western world and all of our religions, we have at our foundation, our basic creation myth is that we have been rejected by God, right? We did something bad, we're being punished, we're kicked out of we've been kicked out of the garden, we're on our own, we have to go, you know, subdue the planet, and so you know what he said, imagine if you had a culture, if our culture had this creation story that said, here, the creator came to this planet, created this beautiful garden, and then created all of the animals and everything and human beings, and then turned to the humans and said, I started it, now you finish it. Right? How would we act differently? I mean, it's huge. So I think one of the things that we're doing here is we are re-examining our myths and our what?
Beliefs.
All of our beliefs, right? So we've adopted these stories about our relationship with the earth, about relationship with each other, and it just, I see it over and over. You know, my personal belief is that every problem we have on this planet stems from the belief that we're separate, that we're separate from, you know, men and women, and Jews and Christians and Muslims, and you know, and countries. So I think the number one healing thing to do is to bring that consciousness of oneness into our awareness, that in a way that we can act upon it. You know, that love, that we're really based out of love. So having been separated from the natural world, the natural world is that which sustains us, right? The Earth Mother. That all the these cultures before us had believed in the Earth as mother, as sustainer, as nurturer. And I think, you know, the fact that we've been separated from that, we've separated from the nurturing feminine principles in our societies, right? So not only the feminine principles, but the females of our societies across the planet have been dishonored and disregarded, and we're operating in this paradigm that does not value and oftentimes doesn't see what it is that women bring, this nurturing, sustaining, life-giving, cooperative. So, and so of course, as you know, half the population of the planet in most places are, you know, the creativity, the brilliance, the passion, the intellect, they've been suppressed for thousands of years. But, you know, in that Thrive movie, we were talking about how it takes a lot of energy to suppress life. Mm-hmm. And what we are about now, I think part of this leap in evolution, the evolution of humanity, is bringing an awareness of this, or a balance back to this feminine and masculine, what's traditionally called feminine and masculine sensibilities, and an honoring of the divine feminine. So, so as Nelly said, this new consciousness that we're bringing to the planet is the consciousness that honors life. That's what we're about, and it's based. So the economy as it is. I mean, I would go so far as to say, now some people wouldn't agree with me, that our culture honors death. That it's you know, our violence and conflict and war, and these are the things that often drive our economy, and that our heroes are the really aggressive males. So what we are doing is bringing about the principles of synergy, cooperation, co-creation. This is going to come from this knowledge that we're all connected, right? And that's why at the foundation, I'm passionate about the science part, because I think people will be able, some people who have that show me thing will be able to hear the lessons of science in a way that they wouldn't be able to hear, ancient wisdom traditions. So, I was telling. So was it last summer the Occupy protests? Mm-hmm. I was with my son, who was 12 at the time, and I was on the internet, and I was watching this video of the Occupy Oakland protest where that Marine got hit and got hit in the head by a grenade of some sort, right? So he was very badly bleeding, and there were people who had stopped to help him. And then on film, it looked like one of the riot police behind the barricades took aim, leveled his gun at this group of people who were trying to help someone who was down, and fired a flashbang grenade to disperse them. And it was very powerful and very painful to watch. And so I noticed that after we had watched that, a couple minutes later, I saw my son sitting on the couch, and he was sitting like this. And he looked like he was just about to, And I thought, oh, okay. So I went and sat next to him, and I said, what's going on? And he said, cops are assholes. And I said, no. I said, no. And so I said, I brought my daughter and my son together, and I said, listen, I'm going to tell you what's happening on this planet right now. As if I know. I feel strongly. I said, look, actually, does anyone know Pokemon? Yeah. Pokemon, okay, so my son was really into Pokemon for a while. So these little creatures, little Japanese animated cartoon creatures, right? When he was born, Pokemon were really big, and I was praying to God that he did not get into Pokemon. But of course, when he was, 8 or 9, he was really into it. So, but I was seeing, I see evolutionary teachings everywhere. So they have these creatures, and they capture them, and then they train them, and then they send them into battle with each other. And there are like 200 different types of them, and he knew all of the different types. But what happens in the Pokemon world is that when a creature gets a certain level of experience and a certain level of skill, that creature evolves into a new type. So, and he's 8 years old, he's telling me about the evolved form of whatever the thing's name was. And what happens is in the show, the thing, it's like, oh, what's happening? He's getting ready to evolve, and he starts beaming light, right? And then there's his form he transforms into something that kind of looks like the old one, but it's it's sort of a different form. So he's sitting on the couch. He's all upset about this thing in Occupy, and I said, here's what's happening. Humanity is evolving like a Pokemon. and I said, and it's happening fast. It's happening in geological time. It's going to be the blink of an eye. But as we're going through it, it's chaotic. It's. I said, there is. If you've ever seen cymatics, do you know cymatics? It's if you put like a board on a speaker, and then you put flour or salt or something like that, and then you run a tone through this powder, a design will form. A geometric shape will form in response to whatever tone is going through. And then you change the frequency of the tone, and the shape will form, will change into a different geometry. And so what I was telling him is that there are new frequencies on this planet right now. And all of our old structures were formed in a time of a different frequency, right? There's newness happening, and these old structures cannot stand. They're all based on competition. They're all based on old belief systems. They're all based on separation. And I said, if you're looking here at what's falling apart, you're going to get very upset. And the people who are really invested in these old structures are going to fight hard to keep things the way they are. But I said, but if you look over here and you look at what is being created, what's new on the planet, right? Which you don't get a lot of. It's exciting. It is exciting. And I said, I'm going to tell you what is going to help bring in this new paradigm is to be in heart consciousness. Basically, this isn't us versus them, right? This is cops are assholes, and we're, we're against them, and we're against the planet, and we're against, terrorists. But I said, we're going to hold that all life is sacred. Right, and that everybody, that we are all connected. So I said, so you know the story of how the butterflies transform, right? Elizabeth Sartoris talks about how butterflies, when the caterpillars, they consume. They consume everything around 300 times their weight as they're getting ready to form their chrysalis, and then they hang in in this kind of bloated, terrible thing, and it forms a chrysalis. And then the caterpillar body actually disintegrates within that. But in that are imaginal cells that are formed that hold the blueprint for the butterfly. And when they first start to form, the caterpillar body actually tries to destroy them because they're seen as foreign. But more and more form, and then they align, they stack up, and they create the blueprint for the butterfly, and the caterpillar body that has disintegrated and created this soup provides the nutrient for the new butterfly form. And so she was saying in that movie last night, if you love butterflies, you don't go around stomping caterpillars. Right? So,
and also the other thing that I'm getting from what you're saying is that you need a lot of nutrients to feed that butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
This caterpillar has eaten 300 times its weight.
yeah.
So it's an interesting thing to apply to our economic Probably there is a lot of that happening right now.
Exactly. So, you know, Barbara Marx Hubbard talks about that the crises that we are seeing on this planet are actually birth pangs. That we're creating this new, she calls it a new human, a universal human, a human that has a greater awareness of its place within nature, within the cosmos, and that we are the 7 billion of us being birthed together. So Nassim Haramein talks about, you know, if you could put a little camera inside a uterus, and when there's a baby who's just at the end of gestation, right? And it's time for the baby to be born because it has outgrown its habitat. It cannot stay where it is, right? It has to go or die. So he said, if you could have a little camera and see from the inside and watch what happens as, you know, the walls start closing in, right? The things start contracting, and then, you know, all of the support systems fall apart, and then you know, and then this light opens up, and then the baby just gets kind of sucked away, and then, you know, if you're from that point of view, something terrible has happened, right? This you know, something took this baby away, and all of these structures have fallen apart. But of course, on the other side is new life. Mm-hmm. So when I see the economy the way it is, all of our own structures are falling apart because they're not. They don't serve. They don't serve life, and I really believe they have to, at some level, fall apart. They have to transform, and so I wanted to make sure that he knew, that my son, that if you're gonna look at what's falling apart, you're gonna see violence and you're gonna see a lot of ugly stuff, but there is so much that is growing organically out of just life's desire to express the love economy, you know. And in Paul Hawkins' TED Talk, he talks about that there are over 1 million self-formed organizations, just, you know, not connected with anything else. There's organizations on the planet that are dedicated to helping save the planet. 1 million organizations, and that's probably, yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, it's probably a conservative estimate.
He said 2 million now.
It's 2 million.
Oh,
so
2 million.
exactly.
And counting.
Right, because I think some of them, exactly, I think they're being formed every day. I mean, that's astounding, right? That's the biggest social movement that's ever happened. That is not, it's not national, and it's not religious, it's across all boundaries. And of course, what would the media do with that? You know, it doesn't fit into the old structure. So
Barbara Marx says that the media, the purpose of the media is to report what is not working.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
and it does it very nicely.
They do a perfect job.
Yeah, exactly. So we're living in a time between two worlds, right? We do have to navigate the old structure, but at the same time we are bringing in, I think, you know, we're bringing in this new awareness. And the new structures are following. The old structures are breaking down, the new structures aren't quite formed yet, so it can be a scary time. I was talking to a friend who was talking about, I think it was Karl Marx, she said, who sort of laid out these cycles within human economies, that they tend to peak and then fall and then peak and then fall. But as one is falling, another one is already starting, right? Mm-hmm. And what he said is that when, you know, people start to get a little antsy here, and when it gets to about, you know, 50-50, 60-40, that's when everything hits the fan and people are really kind of panicked. But you know, I believe in the goodness of life. I really, you know, that life is moving toward this evolutionary actually it's on this evolutionary path that is toward humanity being aware of oneness and acting accordingly. And I think all of our structures in the love economy, you know, that our structures will be built in a love economy. I mean, I think it's the only way we can go.
Can